And we back. Y'all, the day has come. First of all, excuse this face, excuse this voice. I just woke up, and y'all know I'd be taking a brother a couple hours to really get in the swing of things. But when I woke up, it was because of your notifications. Yeah, 2K dropped a blog post about this community. And y'all went crazy on my Twitter, so that's what woke me up this morning. And thank you for that, because I would have slept right through the news. So y'all know around here, we've been super critical of 2K when it comes to the Myleague, MyGym community, because we believe that there just hasn't been actions taken to improve the mode. Where today, we got the blog post finally to try to see what it's going to look like in next gen. The city had been announced a few days ago. It just seems like 2K is stepping his game up across every other mode, and we were just waiting to see what it looks like for us. And here it is. Today's that day. Now, I knew it was coming, and some people on the channel were like, Kenny, they'll never drop news about Myleague / MyGym because they didn't improve it, they didn't do anything. But they had DM'd me on Twitter a few days ago saying, hey, can we use your tweet and my tweet? So I knew that something was coming, and today is that day. And it's not Myleague anymore, y'all. It's not MyGym anymore, y'all. It's called MyNBA, and it's gonna take me some time to get used to saying MyNBA, but that's what it is. Basically, what they did is they took the MyGym, Myleague, and Myleague Online and put them all into one mode known as MyNBA. Now, I've read through this blog post once, and in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through what I think are the important parts, and then I'll give my opinion at the end. You form your own opinion on this update from current gen to next gen. Be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new. Obviously, you're on this video because you care about 2K21. This is the spot you want to be at when next gen comes out. Now, I know we're a few days away from the Xbox Series X, and I must admit, I still don't have a console on pre-order or anything. I'm eventually get one. I promise. I will go through different states to get me an Xbox Series 1 the release date, and then get me a PlayStation on release date. I promise you that. So this is a channel you want to be a part of, because we will have gameplay, we will have videos ready for next gen's release. So it started here November 2nd. Y'all should be getting Myleague news today, because I knew that eventually they were going to drop news, and then their response was, the wait is over. MyNBA is our next gen franchise mode. Hashtag NBA 2K21. Then they link to a blog post. All right, y'all. So here we go with the blog post, and this is from one of the senior producers over at 2K. Shout out to Dave. And he gives his little resume. He's been working on 2K for 14 years. He was a part of NFL 2K3, All Sports 2K8. So he's been around the community for a while. He talks about how they had to make the jump from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One, and how they incorporated MyGM and all of that type of stuff. And this is something that was new to me, and I did not know it existed, and maybe it just started to exist this year. But they have an entire team of people dedicated to like the Myleague, MyGM stuff, which is something I did not know. So now we have some names: Jeff, Tim, John, Leftos. If something goes wrong in this mode, I am going after each and every one of y'all. It's part of my responsibility as one of the voices of this community. If this game comes out, the MyNBA comes out, and it's a lot of bugs, I'm hitting up all of y'all on Twitter, on Instagram, and the fans are coming. But let's hope that doesn't happen. So what he was saying is that, hey, we don't want to start from scratch like we did with the neighborhood and turn it into the city, because Myleague / MyGym already has so many good features, and they just wanted to incorporate or enhance those features, which is like, yeah, sure, but it's also a way around and saying like, hey, we just added a couple of things, we changed the name, and here y'all go. Instead, we decided that we will take everything that we've learned and built in MyGym, Myleague, and Myleague Online, and put it together in an all-new and all-encompassing MyNBA. All right, y'all, so we got our very first screenshot. Now, let's just take a look at the screenshot. This is the new title screen when it comes to the MyNBA, and there's so many different options, and later in this article they talk about all the different options. It starts off with the settings, but okay, just looking at this without looking at any of the article beforehand, one thing that stuck out to me was this right here: G League with playable games. There used to be a time in 2K's existence where they allowed you to play G League games, and they took it out. And then they were like, hey, here's G League statistics, but you can't actually watch the game, you can actually play the game, and now they're bringing back those games. And y'all know 2K has this tendency of taking things out of the game and then reincorporating them years later and be like, here, we got something new, even though it was something they had previously had in the game. I'm excited to have it back, but I'm not going to act like this is like game breaking because we've had it before in the past. I guess it would just be cool to see it now. And I wonder how immersive or how big the G League is. Is there a way for me, like if I wanted to like strictly play G League, strictly like have a whole league just for the G, Is it possible? Will I still have the same experience as the overall broad My NBA? Probably not. But I'm curious to what extent are these games. Like, of course, they are playable at the end of the day. But will I be able to form a full 15-man roster in the G League? I don't know. Or y'all know that the NBA has its own G League. Will all of those players be into it? Or would it be like, hey, here's the top 2 players of every G League team. Now, the rest of the roster is just auto-generated guys, because that has been something they've done in the past as well. So I'm curious to how much time they spent on the G League mode. So the next things is like you can play with friends. Of course, it's Myleague Online. And then the role-playing elements has a lot to do with like the MyGM stuff. Honestly, on this channel, we didn't do a lot of MyGM. It just took too long, but later in the blog post, they talk about that. Then he proceeds to go through every one of these boxes. So starting off with My NBA setup settings, this is stuff that we all know. Turn on fantasy draft, custom league rules, custom rosters, custom league, custom salary cap. This is all the stuff that we see in the game that we do on this channel all the time. Now, what's interesting and what's new, which is something that we actually asked for on this channel. So round of applause to the community for getting into 2K, and they actually listened. Now, they say that custom league rules is a new feature, which is not really a new feature, but the new aspect of it is, y'all know how, like, if I wanted to change the lottery odds, I would have to wait to the off season, go to league meetings, and then turn it on. Now you can change that stuff from the beginning of the mode. So that's something very small tweak that we asked for on this channel, and we got it. So if I want to have it so that overtime is sudden death in my first year, I can do that. I don't know why you would do that, but you could do that from the start. If you want to change some things about contracts, all of these different things you can do from the start instead of waiting to like the league meetings page on the off season. Another new feature, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to play your league with 30 teams anymore. They give you the option to take out teams. Yes, they give you the option to take out teams to as low as only having 12 teams in your franchise. Now, the reason they did this is because they want you to, if you want to have the experience of like, if you want to go back to the 60s where there's only 15 total, I don't know how the 60s worked, but if you wanted to go back to like 60s time when there was a limited amount of teams in the league, you could actually do that. You can actually do that now. And of course, expansion is still in the game. So you can go from 30 is where we're at in real life, all the way down to 12 if you wanted to, or all the way up to 36. Which is cool. We'll take that. And then the same thing with like Myleague Online. You don't need all 30 teams anymore. If you and just 12 friends wanted to get in and draft God squads, you can do that. You don't have to worry about the CPU teams either. And it's something that the Myleague Online community has been asking for as well. So the next thing is actually funny, the way they try to word things to try to make it seem like they're doing something completely cool or completely new. Something that we've had on Myleague/MyGM for a long time is like the stipend rule, the 30-day trade restrictions, 60-day restrictions, all of that stuff. Dead cap has always been in the game. But what they're saying in here is like, hey, you can turn that right off if you want to. That's a new feature. But it was something we've already had. The only thing they did is that they clumped it into one, and now just one button can turn it all off instead of you going down and turning all 3 to 5 things off individually. At the end of the day, I guess it saved you 2 seconds, but I definitely didn't expect it to be in a blog post because it's not that significant. Something that's not in here that I thought we definitely were going to expect is like the buyout market. You know what I'm saying? It's not in here. We have been asking for the buyout market for years, and I think it's something that you could legitimately do in the game. But we don't get it this year, unfortunately. But it actually is a big part of basketball, so I'm very confused on how we aren't at the point where we actually have it in 2K. So the next thing is the role-playing elements. Again, I was not a MyGM guy, so and the reason I wasn't a MyGM guy because I just thought this was all like it didn't really work for anything. But what they're saying is, and now in My NBA, you can turn all of these off, or if you want to have them on, you can. And they really saying that it was hard for them to incorporate this because in MyGM, you can only control one team. You'll have meetings for one team. You know how like a player will walk into your office and be like, I'm upset with my playing time. You can only do that for one team. And now they're saying with the new next gen technology, you can now take control of all 30 teams or up to 36 teams and still have these meetings and things. And it's something they pat themselves on the back about a few times throughout this article. So it's something really big for them. Little do they know, I don't think there's many people in the community that really care about MyGM options and things like that. But if you're one of those guys, boom, you can do that now. So the next thing is this budget and finance. Basically what they're saying is that, hey, across all modes, you can now adjust the ticket pricing, the concessions. If you want to charge your fans $30 for a hot dog, you can do that now. And that was something that was only in MyGM, but since it's all together now, anybody can use it. At the end of the day, I think most people probably won't. Like, this is something like, why is this in the blog post? This is something that's already been in the games for years. Y'all know how, like, if you don't want to have full control of a team, you can put everything on automatic, draft on automatic, trades on automatic, offseason on automatic. Now they have a new tab for it where you can make it automatic for people that just want to play the game. I don't think that this is something that should have been in the blog post because it's something that's been in the game forever, but whatever. So the next one is something very interesting. Start from is something that's been in the game. I don't know why they included that in the blog post because we've had that before. But the next one is a G League thing. Now basically what they're saying is if you want to play G League games, you can. We finally brought it back. But if you don't want to, you can just turn it off, which is cool. Whether it's turned on, the G League teams will play a schedule of games, and if you look at the daily view, you'll see the G League games, which is cool. You can simcast and simcast live them, which is also cool, but it doesn't tell us in depth like what the G League rosters look like. Will my cousin be on 2K because he played for the Windy City Bulls for a couple games? Probably not, but like they don't tell us what those rosters will look like. And then ranked is something I don't think anybody cared about, like legitimately. I don't ever remember a single comment in my last 2 years of ranked being a thing in 2K of somebody talking about their rank when it comes to my GM. I literally don't think nobody cares. They spend time on it for no reason. I mean, there might be, okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I don't think there's a community of people out there grinding ranked my GM. But if you want to, hey, you can do it again with them all being into one. I understand you could turn off the online feature, but is this going to turn into 2K turn into one of the games that like if you don't have internet access, you can't experience it to its fullest? Like, I know that when it comes to like franchise mode in Madden, there's like, hey, you can do one in the cloud, which is if you have internet connection, and you can do one just like on your hard drive, which does require internet connection. I don't know, and maybe I'm thinking too much into it, and it's not that deep, but I wonder people at home without internet connection, will they be able to experience my NBA to its fullest? So again, the new features, playable G League modes, or G League games, we already talked about that. Revamped boom or bust system. Now this is interesting. If you do not remember when 2K21 first dropped on current gen, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out this boom or bust system, and the conclusion to that, it was like the boom or bust system doesn't work on current NBA players and only worked on the auto-generated draft class guys. But now they revamped it. We introduced a simple boom or bust system to the game last year that added a little randomness to the potential of prospects, but have given it a major facelift this year and completely revamped it. Younger players in the league will now have more dynamic growth path using the boom or bust system. Players can have a low and high potential floor, low and high potential ceilings, and a probability to boom, bust, or hit somewhere in between. And of course it showed De'Aaron Fox, but these are things that has been in the games before, and that is the peak age and the peak end. But some things that I just noticed is the minimum potential and the maximum potential if you want to get into things like that. So you're going to have players where their minimum potential is like a 60, which means that they have a chance to bust, and then their maximum potential is like a 99, which means that they have a chance to be the greatest of all time. That is a very interesting feature in the vitals that is actually kind of cool. Shout out to 2K. In addition, until age 23, we will continue to determine the player's potential based on multiple factors to make it so that every player will still be excited during development years. The same player could have a wildly different growth path in each save. So keeping up with scouting prospects after they're in the league will be critical to building a dynasty. That's really cool. And that's for like my guys that are really into Myleague. Like, I'm one of those guys. I know on this channel I post a lot of 1-year rebuilding challenges, but I do really love the idea of like a long-winded thing, and keeping up with like the auto-generated guys is something that's super crucial. We've also revamped player generation to better leverage the boom or bust system to make for more interesting players to scout and further enhance draft storylines. But as always, all of this can be edited if you want. Okay, cool. This is dope. This is something that we've been waiting for. They didn't mention how scouting works in next gen, but it will be more interesting players to draft. Because right now when it comes to 2K21, there's like 4 or 5 different modes of player. It's like, hey, we got that guy that's a super sharpshooter. Hey, we got that guy that's like Jordan Clarkson who could get you buckets but don't do anything else. Oh, we have the great defensive center, or we have that one center that literally does everything to the max. There is no in between. So now with this new system, hopefully there's an in between, and you can get like real lockdown specialists if you want to. You can get mid-range specialists if you like. Hopefully is a more dynamic experience when it comes to drafting. New staff. We've added an additional assistant coach to hire to impact how players perform, which is very interesting because that was one of the videos I was going to film this year, how much does coaching matter. And I guess we kind of did that in the video where I hired myself, who was an F offensive coach and F defensive coach, and we still won like 5 championships in a row. But a question I've always wondered when it comes to these modes, how much does the coaching matter? And apparently it does. I don't know. So the next thing is interesting. Of course, we've always seen 2K share people creating rosters, player DNAs, and we being able to download and use them. It's a W. But the next one is something that was incorporated into current gen, but nobody took advantage of it because we were all really waiting for next gen. And finally, they start to talk about it a little bit more. Basically, what they're saying is in 2K scenarios, I can create my own My NBA, get the settings I want it to be, get the teams the way I want it to be, and upload it so you can have the same experience. So the way they talk about it is like, hey, if you wanted to recreate the league where it's like Jordan's in the Jordan time in the 90s, you can do that, save it so everybody across the globe can get your hard work and also use it like you do. Basically, they're taking like the mod community has been doing this for years, and they're trying to incorporate it into next gen where you can recreate the entire league to your liking and allow people to experience it the way you experienced it. Maybe you've set up a scenario where you're in control of the Clippers and down 3-0 in the Western Conference Finals against the rival Los Angeles Lakers, and you want to see if other members of the community would take it the challenge and coming back a 3-0 deficit. That's a very small example of it, but that's the type of stuff you can do with 2K scenarios. Now, I'm very curious to what the community uses for, because I can see this really booming and being the catalyst for a lot of new channels blowing up, or I can see people not caring about it. So how about we care about this year, y'all? If y'all want to create some scenarios and I go ahead and I do it for videos, let's do it. Ooh, tattoos. Customization has been a big part of 2K, and like new hairstyles and all of that's supposed to be incorporated in tattoos. This is not an exact new feature, but they're talking about how like we finally getting tattoos back on generated players and prospects, because if you did not know, once you get 10 years to the future, nobody has tattoos because 2K didn't take the time to give tattoos to players, but they do. And from what I can see right here, there's also new tattoos because this is not something that has been in the game. I can't wait to draft J.R. Smith 2.0. That's all I'm really saying. A new slide navigation. This doesn't really matter to me too much, but here it is if you want to take a pause and read it. Basically, they just changed the interface a little bit. As you can see, the schedule looks a little bit different. Power ranking is up here, and I can't see what this is that's for. I don't really know, but the whole UI is what it's called, is a little bit different. So the closing thoughts, cool stuff. He thanks us because we are part of the online community. Some of the things that we've talked about on this channel, or a friend have talked about on their channel, because they're also a Myleague, My Gym guy, has been incorporated. But there are a lot of question marks associated with this, and I guess only time will tell. We're right around the corner for the game actually dropping to see how everything works together. At the end of the day, I am grateful that 2K is trying to make an effort to make this experience for us a little bit better. Again, it's only so much they could have done because the premise of Myleague is pretty much the same. Hey, I want to rebuild a team and win a championship. At the end of the day, I just hope there's the bug fixes that we saw in previous years have been completely fixed, and that this new immersive thing is something that we can experiment here on this channel and everybody enjoys. I know this was a long video, but I had to get this out as one of the Myleague guys in the community of my reactions. Let me know what you think about the mode. What I can say is that there's small tweaks here and there, and at the end of the day, if the game is clean and there's no bugs and it's realistic, I'm cool with these updates. You know what I'm saying? Only time will tell. And y'all know we're never going to stop being critical because we want the best version of whatever Myleague, or I'm sorry, My NBA is. So we will be here and we will, you know, give our criticisms and stuff like that. So 2K, if you're watching this video, thank you for taking the time to upgrade at least a little bit. You will be hearing back from this community because we are loud and we are rowdy. If you enjoyed the video, leave it a like. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace.